y'all like this sign? Usually when we see this sign, it means that we have got a long wait to sit in construction, right? It means that half the road is shut down, and the other half is there's a car driving back and forth, leading a group through the construction zone, and they're going to turn around and drive back. Now, I can very specifically remember one day when I'd been sitting at the flag person who's there with the stop sign, and finally the pilot car came up, and they turned around, and I followed the instructions, right? It says follow me, so I followed. We were driving down the road, and all of a sudden they veer off into the construction zone, and I was kind of panicked for a moment. I do. The sign says follow me, but they're driving into a section of road that has been tarred over and dug up, and I decided just to stop, which it turns out was a good choice because the pilot car had actually seemed to have forgotten that there was people following him or something, because he just had to go have a conversation with his buddy over on the other side of the road, and so he pulled over through the construction zone, went and talked to somebody for a little while, and I just kind of sat there scratching my head for a moment. Finally, he pulled back on the road, and I followed him through the rest of the construction zone, and I thought, this is a very strange thing, because when you have someone following you, you have to be kind of careful where you're going, because they're going to follow. That's the idea, anyway. I mean, we don't want to end up like this. This pilot car here, if you kept following him, then you'd be in a world of trouble. And I feel like sometimes this is the struggle of life that we are all in, is we have folks who invite us to follow. Maybe it's a boss. Maybe it's a family member. Somebody who says, hey, I've got this great idea. I want you to come along, and I want you to follow me. And the question is, where are we going? I mean, it's all well and good to follow somebody, but if you don't know where you're going, it's very hard to figure out, how do I actually follow this person? If you've ever had to follow somebody going to a restaurant or going to a meeting somewhere, y'all are going to do this, they say, oh, just follow me. And you get in your car and you're behind them, and you don't know where they're going. Y'all done this? And the light turns yellow. They go on through, and you stop and you think, well, this is interesting. I wonder what I do now, because I don't know where I'm going. And hopefully, if that person's aware, they're going to pull over and let you catch back up with them. But this question of where are we going is really, really hard to wrestle with when we talk about following somebody. And so, here, this is our website. I don't know if y'all spend any time on our website. There's the address. This is our front page here with our vision on it. And it says this: Cortland United Methodist Church seeks to lead all of God's children to become fully devoted followers of Jesus Christ. But where are we going? If we're following Jesus, that's all well and good, but where is Jesus going? Where is he leading us? We can say that we are fully devoted followers of Christ, but if we don't know where Jesus is going, it is awfully hard to figure out what are we doing against that red light. What do we do when the road seems to veer a little bit? We all want to follow Jesus. That's kind of why we're here. But we're not always really clear on where he's going. We've been going through this series on navigating life, and in this series we've been looking at the Gospel of Luke, one of the 4 stories in the New Testament that tells about Jesus' life. And we've been following Jesus on a very specific journey. It's the journey to Jerusalem. He sets out in Luke chapter 9, and it says, and you can see this verse on the front of your bulletin, it's kind of been a bit of our theme verse for this series. He set out resolutely towards Jerusalem. And it's not just a walk to the city of Jerusalem. It's following this arrow because that arrow leads to this cross. And for Jesus, Jerusalem is the cross. It wasn't just a sightseeing expedition. And so, we're going to continue that journey today. And this is our bottom line. A life following Jesus will love until it hurts and then keep on loving, because that's what the cross is about. Jesus went to the cross not because it was simply an accident of history, or he got on the wrong side of the wrong people. He gave his life because that was the ultimate act of love. If we're going to follow him to Jerusalem, we've got to be prepared to love until it hurts and then keep on loving. All right, let's read this from Luke chapter 14. A large crowd was following Jesus. Here we go. He's on the way. He's headed to Jerusalem, and we got this big group of people walking with Jesus. You can kind of picture this. He's walking down the road. There's this crowd behind him, and he turns around and says to them, "I know where you're going. Do you realize where you are following me? Because this is where I'm going." Is that where you're going? He says this: "If you want to be my disciple, you must, by comparison, hate everyone else. Your father, your mother, your wife, your children, your brothers, your sisters, and yes, even your own life. Otherwise, you cannot be my disciple. And if you do not carry your own cross and follow me, you cannot be my disciple." Jesus is inviting us to the cross. Now, for us, it is not the physical cross. He's not asking us to literally end our lives, even though he says that we have to love him more than our own lives. It's all about putting the cross first. And the cross is about God saying, no matter what it takes, I will love and I will rescue. That dream that was on Jesus' heart was to call God's people back together, was to gather the scattered sheep into a flock. And that took giving his own life. But it didn't matter, because the love of God compelled him to act. Let's keep reading here. Don't begin until you can count the cost, Jesus says. For who would begin a construction of a building without first calculating the cost to see if there's enough money to finish it? Otherwise, you might complete only the foundation before running out of money, and everyone would laugh at you. They would say, there's that person who started that building and couldn't afford to finish it. Or, what king would go to war against another king without first sitting down with his counselors to discuss whether his army of 10,000 could defeat the 20,000 soldiers marching against him? And if he can't, he will send a delegation to discuss the terms of peace while the enemy is still far away. So get this picture in your mind. Jesus has this crowd that is following him as he heads to the cross, and he turns around and says, are you ready? Are you really prepared to love until it hurts? Because that's where I'm going. That's where I am heading. Think about it. Are you ready to build the whole house? Are you ready to fight the whole battle? Because there's no point in coming with me to Bethany. Bethany was kind of the last stop outside of Jerusalem. There's no point in following me to Bethany if you're not going all the way to the cross. If you're not willing to give your life in love for the things that God calls you to love. There's more than one time in the Gospels where Jesus basically tries to run people off. He says, look, you've got to be serious about this. This isn't a game. This isn't fire insurance. We talked about this on Wednesday night at the Bible study, how some folks come to Christianity because we're just worried, well, if I don't go to church enough times, then I'm going to go to hell. That's not what Jesus called us to. Jesus called us because of the love of God to let that love fill us and lead us and guide us as we can take up our own cross and follow after Jesus. So, you cannot be my disciple without giving up everything you own. Salt is good for seasoning, but if it loses its flavor, how do you make it salty again? Flavorless salt is good neither for the soil nor for the manure pile. It is simply thrown away. And that is what he is saying happens with a person who's not able to follow all the way through. We're good for just being tossed aside. And that's a challenging word. Because we tend to think of Jesus as kind of a nice guy. We tend to think of him as someone who makes us feel a little bit warm and fuzzy when we meet with him. He's gentle Jesus, meek and mild. He carries the lambs on his shoulders and gives us those little warm, fuzzy feelings in our hearts. But he is also Jesus who went to the cross and says, you want to follow me? That's where I'm going. To follow Jesus, you have to love until it hurts and then keep on loving. And so when we think about the dreams that God has given us, we've talked about that over the last few weeks, the things that God has put on your heart that really matter, whether they're children or whether they're your family or whether they're this community or whether there's something nationwide or whether it's modern day slavery or any of a number of things, the call is to follow Jesus as he goes all the way to the cross to live out his calling. We're going to have to love until it hurts and then keep on loving. This is what Philippians 2 says. This is one of my favorite descriptions of Jesus. It says, don't be selfish. Don't try to impress others. Be humble, thinking of others as better than yourselves. Don't look out only for your own interests. Folks, that is our marching orders, looking out for our own interests. Don't look out only for your own interests, but take an interest in others too. You must have the same attitude that Christ Jesus had. And what was Jesus' attitude? Though he was God, he did not think of equality with God as something to cling to. Instead, he gave up his divine privileges. This is the Christmas story, right? Jesus was in heaven, all power, all glory, all honor, everything he could possibly want, and he came down to be born as a baby in a stable with nothing. He gave it all up. And that's supposed to be our attitude too. He gave up his divine privileges. He took the position of a slave and was born as a human being. When he appeared in human form, he humbled himself in obedience to God and died a criminal's death on the cross. A life following Jesus will love until it hurts and then keep on loving. Are we prepared to do that? Are we going to count the cost and say, yeah, I'm going to go all the way through with this. I'm going to live my life as Jesus lived. To love others, even when it hurts. Because that's what the love of God is about. As I've said over the last few weeks, for those of you who've been here, I'm not trying to tell you what God's dream is for you. There are things that God has put in your heart that matter deeply to you that I don't understand, I don't know, but I trust God's working with you. There are things that God has called you to love, people that God has called you to love. Well, I don't know. But the question is this: how does the dream God has given you call you to love others even when it hurts? Because if you're going to follow through with God's dream, there's going to be some times when you have to say, yeah, this is going to cost me something. Maybe it's going to cost you financially. Maybe it's going to cost your time. Maybe it is going to physically cause you pain. But it's going to allow you to love somebody. That's the call of God, a God who died on the cross. The beauty is, we are a community that gathers all of the love of God, all of the call of God, all of God's dreams. We gather that together. And we commit ourselves to it, saying, you know what? No matter what it costs me, I will seek and follow after God. And this church truly becomes the church of Jesus Christ. We can only claim to be the church of Jesus Christ if we are willing to go to the cross. If we're willing to give ourselves. That's what I want us to be. People who love until it hurts and keep on loving. Let's pray.